Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. Joining me today is Utsav Chakrabarti of Hindu Pact, and we have some exciting news to share with you. Here's Utsav Chakrabarti. Utsav, Namaskar and welcome to P Guru's channel.
Namaskar, Shri, and happy to be back.
So, Utsav, something momentous happened in the United Kingdom's government. The Foreign Secretary has made a determination. And why don't you walk us through it, the import of this? Because for the longest time, I have been one of those people who's been saying that Mian Mithu belongs to in the jail. He needs to be tried out for all the crimes of humanity that he has committed. Utsav, I've heard some second-hand stories from Dr. Omendra Ratno, who runs his refugee camp for Hindus of Pakistan in Jaipur, and it is totally heartbreaking, brother. I mean, it brings tears to my eyes, the kind of things these people subjected the minorities to. So go ahead and take it away, sir, and tell us what has been happening.
So over the last many years, I would say over the last 75 years, but at least most people who have been tracking it over the last 10 to 15 years, there has been a record of 3 Hindu, Sikh or Christian girls being kidnapped, forcibly converted to Islam, and then married off, sometimes as the first wife or the second or third wife of some individual. And this has been a trend that has been going on in Pakistan for, as I said, at least 2 decades, 15 years to 20 years that we have been tracking. And no amount of protest, no amount of global condemnation, no amount of awareness could stop it, because it was sanctioned at the state and the national level. It was sanctioned at the constitutional level. So what was happening is that there are these Islamic seminaries, and they vary in their ideological background. So some of them could be Salafi, some of them could be Shia, they had multiple ideological backgrounds, but they all aimed at only one thing, and that is forced conversion of Hindu girls, Sikh girls, wherever there are Sikh girls, and obviously Christians, because there's a growing minority population in Pakistan, to Islam. And the way they used the system was that these girls would be kidnapped, taken away, and married off to an individual. Often in cases, some girls were less than 15 years of age, less than 16 years of age, but they would not be allowed to go and meet their parents, and they would be coerced into accepting Islam, and sometimes on camera. And this was a pandemic, for lack of a better phrase. Most people know what pandemic means nowadays. And one of the key people who was running this operation, and proudly so, was a person named Mian Mithu. So Mian Mithu's real name is a guy named Mian Abdul Haq. And he claims that he was a Hindu at one time himself. That's what he claims. And he had this obsession and passion for these conversion activities. And he runs this seminary called Burchundi Sharif in Ghotki, which is one of the areas of Sindh where there is a significant Hindu population. As you know, Sindh is the only region in Pakistan where there is a significant Hindu minority left. They are indigenous to that land. They have been there for the last 5,000 plus years. Yeah. And their number is declining. During the India-Pakistan partition, they got stuck there. And most of these people are poor, because the urban Sindhis were able to cobble up whatever resources they had, sell, and then escape to India. But many of these people are poor people living in villages, in abject poverty, in a very inhospitable weather condition. That part of the world is going through a lot, and it's an extremely challenging situation for them. And Mian Abdul Haq and his Burchundi Sharif, Mian Mithu and his entire gang would literally use every possible tool at their disposal, including the state apparatus, to constantly do this conversion activities. And as Hindu Pact, we run a project called Chingari, which is mostly run by our volunteers in America who are trying to educate lawmakers and policymakers on these issues. And we have been calling it out for the last 2 years, every day, to address the situation, and we have gained some success in that. But as you know, just now United Kingdom decided to actually sanction Mia Abdul Haq and his entire seminary, which is a very powerful step, a long overdue step, but it's small news but good news nevertheless.
So let's get into some brass tacks here. When UK sanctions a seminary, in terms of money transfer, does it mean that no money can be sent from, say, United Kingdom into Pakistan into the seminary? Is that something like that, or is there like his visa will be refused if he tries to come to UK? What exactly is the actual import of this? I mean, effect of this?
It would be all of the above. So
Okay.
individuals or organizations in UK who are planning to send money to Burchundi Sharif or to Mian Mithu will not be able to do so. People associated with the seminary or Mian Mithu himself will not be able to travel to UK, and I hope by extension, this part I'm not sure, other EU countries. Uh, I believe that he will not be able to even own property or any physical asset, anybody associated with the seminary in UK. But all of these I don't think I have real impact, because this fellow probably never even wants to travel, or even if he does, he doesn't, he will just stop traveling. And but the real impact is that it sends a message to Pakistan that the world is watching, and this is the first step in a set of steps that can be taken that can actually impact the government of Pakistan, and that can actually impact the Pakistan army. Because I know you know this, Shri, that this fellow Mian Mithu has been close not just to the Pakistan People's Party, which is the party in Sindh, which is very powerful there. He has been close to Mian Nawaz Sharif's party. He has been close to Imran Khan's PTI, and he has been close to the army. And
Yes.
all of them openly associate with him, promote him, and share the platforms with him.
Well, Mr. Imran Khan is a shining example. I don't know how many wives he has had and how many girlfriends he has. And it's the same can be said of the current prime minister also. Anyway, let's not go into that. This is something like a systemic problem.
Correct.
According to law in Pakistan, guys, a man can only have one wife. So all these people are flouting the law openly. I can tell you. I mean, you can turn around and say, "What about India?" Let's say that first of all, India they don't force you to convert to some religion, and the entire village doesn't take in raping a girl and then marrying that poor girl off to the village idiot. These kinds of things have happened also. This guy, I mean, cruelty is personified in this case. Um, Utsav, this probably came from a all-party report that was submitted in 2021 in United Kingdom, right? Can you kind of walk us through what happened on that?
Yes. So there was an all-party parliamentary report. It's called APPG. That was done by a group of lawmakers, a group of parliamentarians in UK from both parties, and they did an inquiry on the Pakistani minority issue, and they prepared a report that appeared in September or October 2021. And I read through the report, and we have been using that report to sensitize the State Department in US as well. But one of the things that the report pointed out is this validation of the fact that every day, I repeat this, every day, 3 girls from the religious
Yes.
minority communities face abduction, forced conversion, and marriage in some cases. And this has been going on for, so this is officially noted in the all party parliamentary group. And another thing that is noted in that, and I think, yeah, you can show the graphics to that, it's in page number 26. And one of the witnesses says that the thought that they are adding a new convert to Islam alone can give them immunity in the eyes of the religious leaders and scholars, as well as ordinary citizens, and sometimes influences the police and the judiciary as well. So basically, this entire nation is designed towards doing these kinds of activities, and you get a free pass. Actually, you are treated much more nicely because you have been doing something that the entire psyche of the nation actually promotes. And the report goes on to say that there are organizations that only do this work. They convert non-Muslim girls to Islam and marry them off. The government should be asked to contain them. The government cannot take on reactionary clerics, and the world at large has every right to complain to the government of Pakistan that they should protect minority communities. So this report actually sets up the tone for what you see now being taken taken as steps by the UK government. And I think, one of my notions going forward from here would be that this is just the first step. US is also making moves in that direction. As you may know, that the US State Department just last week classified Pakistan as a country of particular concern, didn't classify India as a country of particular concern on religious issues. And I would believe that going forward, this would be something that should come up in the US as well.
Thank you, Utsav. A couple of things about United Kingdom. There was an interview a few days after Rishi Sunak became the Prime Minister, and in that interview, he dwelt at length about about forming a new commission to go into the grooming gang cases, making sure that justice is provided, justice is done to all the affected children and girls and women now. And this has gone for many years in the United Kingdom. Any steps in that direction in UK?
I think we will have to wait and see. I mean, Rishi Sunak just came to power, and I believe that it would be in his interest to actually address this, because the issue of grooming gangs, the issue of that, it still continues today. There are no-go zones in areas of UK where even Sharia law is. People say there is application of Sharia law, and the national laws of UK are not applicable. So those kinds of issues, I think Rishi Sunak should address it. There is more than enough evidence to go after the grooming gangs and prosecute them. I mean, Lord Nazir Ahmad, the famous anti-India, anti-Hindu, lawmaker in UK, is one of those people. He is in jail for doing these things. So I think many more people would be in trouble once this is followed through. And most importantly, as a country that is representative of Western democracies in many cases, UK should address the people, its own people. It's a grievance of their own people. Thousands and thousands of girls had to go through
it. Now let's take a look at United States. The HR 1430 that was introduced in the current Congress, which is going to be going out of scope in January. Do you think that it might be revived or you don't want to disclose anything right now because things still are in a state of flux? Where do things stand?
I would certainly say that anybody who thinks it will not be revived is fooling themselves. It will be revived. How, when, and in what way? I would like to, let it happen as it happens.
Absolutely.
And I can assure you it will happen.
And the important thing here is that the very people who are committing all these crimes in turn are saying that there is discrimination in India when the converse is true. And this is sort of like, I'm going to try and shine the spotlight somewhere else, whereas I am doing all the harakiri here. Now, do you think that I'm just searching for the words here. How does one stop this thing? Like, can Mian Mithu be arrested in Pakistan itself?
So you see, as the report says, that people like Mian Mithu have societal sanction. In fact, societal encouragement. In some cases, even police and constitutional protection in Pakistan. A nation that claims to be a nation that was built on the ethos of Islam or Islamism obviously will promote people like Mian Mithu. It will obviously be promoting blasphemy laws. There is nothing that fits into their national narrative. So it's very hard for people like Mian Mithu to be actually prosecuted in Pakistan unless there is external pressure, unless their money gets cut out. So one of the things that we would expect going forward from here is, if you actually cut out the money that Pakistan receives and connect it to people like Mian Mithu, then you will see the Pakistani leadership, whether where the leadership actually lies, civilian or army, the leadership is still in the army. That's when they would actually crack down upon this, because now it's going to affect their bottom line. And that's the only way I think people like Mian Mithu can be contained. And I think that should be the end goal. It's good for Pakistan. Pakistan should realize that it's not going to be a successful state if it keeps doing what it is doing here.
Yes, indeed. And I hope somebody from the IMF is also watching, because from what I have been tracking, their tranche, only the first one went through. The second one hasn't gone through yet, and they have turned around and asked for a 20 billion bailout because of floods. I don't think IMF is going to look at that, but I really want IMF. That's the first source that can be at least be recipient to this, what is happening here, and do something about it.
Well,
And
they
if
use the
if
flood, these organizations like Mian Mithu's Buchundi Sharif, they use the floods as a tool to force conversions. They would provide relief to Hindu villages only if they converted. In case there are
Oh boy.
cases where they would not allow them because these are dry areas. So during dry seasons, they will dig wells only if they convert. So this is the level of depravity and that comes from these ideological spaces where these guys are coming from. And I think that is the point we have to make the global audience, Western democracies, to understand and then act on it.
And lastly, India has been trying to give them citizenship, but the kind of problems they have to face, they are so poor that they can't even afford to come to the consulate to submit papers, pay the fees to have the papers processed. So people have to get that money from abroad. Now what happens is this news spreads like wildfire, and before they even get to go from the village to the consulate, they get robbed, they get beaten up. I mean, all sorts of inhuman things are happening, Utsav. I mean, my blood boils that, hey, listen, this guy is leaving his village, he's leaving his property. What is your problem? You're anyway gaining the property. What are you trying to do?
So ideally, look, this is what Pakistan wants. So this is something that we all have to understand. Sending them, forcing them to go to India, leaving everything behind is exactly what Pakistan wants, because this is what they always wanted. That's why they wanted the partition. But see, if there is no other option, they have no other choice but to leave for India. And then there is one more thing I think we should, especially those of us who are in US, in UK, in Canada, in Australia, all these countries have humanitarian laws that allow for immigration on the basis of human rights, that allow for asylum to people. We in the United States and Canada, instead of trying to help these people to go to India, which is already overstretched in terms of resources, which is already highly overpopulated, I think it is our role here and responsibility to help our local lawmakers understand that we should apply our asylum laws, and these people are the right people to come to Canada, to come to US, to come to UK as asylees, because that will bring them a better life. And more importantly, these people will actually then understand what they are going through, because it will be from the horse's mouth who the victims will be.
Ideally, the Human Rights Commission UN Human Rights Commission should establish an office in some of these areas so that it is much more approachable, so that they can process this. Unfortunately, the membership that is currently in UNHRC, so there is some work to do. In fact, US even exited it during Trump's time. I think they have rejoined now. But anyway, we have to wait and see and hope for the best. My heart goes out to all these poor Hindus who are stuck there. And it's just inhuman, guys. And let's see what best we can do. Utsav, thank you so much for doing all the hard words and the hard yards to get this issue right in the front of everyone and to see some action happen. Thank you very much once again. Viewers, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notification. Namaskar.
Thank you, Shri. Namaste. And I would request everybody to look up Chingari Project @Chingari Project on Twitter. Please follow us. We are trying to make this an international issue and try to help these people out there.
Thank you, Utsav.